The clinking of cutlery against porcelain filled the silence between us. The restaurant was warm, lively, a contrast to the icy distance that had grown between my wife and me. The amber glow from the chandelier above shimmered on her wine glass, but she didn't notice. I knew she was too busy watching herself in the reflection of the window, waiting for me to speak. "Why are you so quiet tonight?" she finally asked, her voice soft but carrying an undertone that had become all too familiar. Irritation. To her, my silence wasn't reflective, it was inconvenient. I looked up, meeting her eyes. Once, those eyes had been a sanctuary to me. Now they were just carefully painted walls hiding secrets. My fork rested against the half-eaten steak, but I no longer had an appetite. My hands were steady, my voice calm, but the storm inside me raged. "You really want to know?" I asked. She gave a small laugh, tilting her head, feigning curiosity. "Of course. You've been so distant lately. You barely talk. I don't know what's going on with you anymore." I leaned back in my chair, studying her face. The perfect makeup, the dress that clung to her like it had been chosen not for me, but for someone else. I took a deep breath. "I'm quiet," I said slowly, "because I already know the truth." Her smile faltered. "What truth?" I held her gaze, unwavering. "Derek." Her fork froze midair, her fingers tightening around it as though the word itself had struck her. The silence that followed was heavier than the walls of the restaurant around us. She didn't speak, she couldn't. And that silence was all the confirmation I needed. I leaned forward. "I asked myself why you've been distant. Why you're always on your phone at night. Why you smile at texts that aren't mine. Why you work late, but come home with perfume that isn't yours." I kept asking. But the moment I said his name just now, your silence gave me my answer. Her lips parted, searching for words, but nothing came out. 1,000 excuses must have raced through her mind, but she knew I'd already seen through them all. "You don't understand," she whispered finally. "I understand perfectly," I replied. "I understand that the woman I gave my heart to has been giving hers to someone else. I understand that while I've been breaking my back to build us a future, you've been throwing it away for a man who won't stay." Her eyes filled with tears. "It's not like that, it just happened." "Don't." I cut in sharper now, my voice firm enough to draw a glance from the next table. "Don't insult me with lies. I've been quiet because I wanted to give you a chance to come clean. I wanted you to tell me yourself. But you didn't. And that says everything." Her hands trembled. She reached across the table, trying to take mine, but I pulled away. For the first time, she looked small, desperate. "Please, we can fix this. It was a mistake." I shook my head slowly. A mistake is forgetting an anniversary. A mistake is burning dinner. What you did wasn't a mistake, it was a choice. Every message, every meeting, every time you looked me in the eye and lied, you chose him over me. Her tears fell freely now, her voice breaking. "I love you. I swear I do." I gave a bitter smile. "If you loved me, you wouldn't have needed Derek." The truth shattered her more than my anger ever could. She had expected rage, a scene, maybe even forgiveness if she played her cards right. But my calmness, my certainty, stripped her of control. I stood, placing my napkin neatly on the table. "Enjoy your dinner," I said, my voice low, final. "It's the last one you'll ever have with me." Her eyes widened in panic. She stood too, her chair screeching loudly against the floor. "Wait, please don't do this here. We can talk at home." But I was already walking away, each step deliberate, the weight on my chest lifting with every stride. Behind me, I could hear her muffled sobs, the whispers of strangers, the sound of her world collapsing. For years, I had given her everything, my trust, my love, my loyalty. Tonight, I gave her the one thing she never thought I'd have the strength to give, an ending. As I stepped out into the cool night air, I realized something. Her betrayal hadn't destroyed me, it had freed me. And though she would spend years trying to piece back together the shards of what she'd lost, I would never look back. Because the moment she asked me why I was so quiet, she handed me the chance to say the words that shattered her world. And I took it.